Did 27 years in prison. Been out 8 years. Let me tell y'all about my first prison fight. Okay, I had been on the compound maybe about 2 weeks. I had just gotten out of the RNO, and I explained to y'all in my other video, if you can watch that, about you being in RNO. That's where they lay down the rules and regulation. Okay, I have been out of RNO like 2 weeks. Now, let me tell you, let me explain this. Let me lay the foundation. On the compound, people have their little friends, or, whatever they call them. And if they see them talking to other people, they get jealous. Sometimes people just don't like you, maybe because you look better than them. Maybe your swag a little bit better. Maybe you carry yourself a little bit better. Well, mind you guys, I have a nice physique. I have a mouth full of gold. So now I see these two dominant girls. They always eyeing me since I've been out of RNO and on the compound. They forever eyeing me. They all, it's always like they giving me the side eye for some apparent reason. I really didn't know why they was giving me the side eye. That was their business, not mine. So one day I'm just walking along and I'm chatting with one of my friends, my homies from St. Petersburg. So we walking and we just talking, and I'm just telling her what I was doing in there and what I had been doing out there. And she was asking me about people we both knew. So I'm walking over, and back then they were still building on the compound, and they had little loose objects like little sticks and little stones and little bricks and stuff just lying around, because they were still building up the institution, because the institution was still being built. It was old, but they was rebuilding while we were still there. They was tearing down and building up. So a lot of the construction stuff was still left on the compound, which they should have secured. So I'm walking by the chapel, and me and my friend talking. So I see a group of people standing over here. I guess that, they talking about whatever they about to do. So I'm not thinking anything of it, because I don't have any hard feelings or no beef or animosity with anybody, because I just hit the compound out of RNO. I don't know anybody but my homie, the one I'm walking with, talking to, from the same hometown. So as I'm walking by, something catches me out of my periphery. Now, when I went to look, I really couldn't understand what was going on, but all I know is that I had good reflex. So I saw something coming near my face, and I took my hand. It was this hand right here, and I did like this. So in other words, it went like this. So it was coming toward my face, and I went and moved it without even doing this to look. I just saw it coming and did like this with my reflex. And when I did it, the brick fell out the girl's hand on the ground, and I looked. And I was, so it wasn't no time for me to be thinking about, okay, what's going on here, or trying to figure out, or trying to, check out what's going on. It's time for me to defend myself. So I jumped back, and, I started, doing what I do. So anyway, we get to throwing hands and everything. So, so as we fighting and everything, I know the girl that was with her supposed to have jumped in it. But when she saw how I was getting with her friend, she kind of thought twice and backed up. But as I was fighting the friend, I was keeping the eye on the other friend as well. So anyway, I was getting the best of the friend. So I had to put some good licks in up in the up to that dome till she fell to her knees. Now when she fell to her knees, she went in her pants like that to try to get what probably her little weapon out, because they used little razors and stuff back then. But see, I wouldn't let her get to her pan. Now this girl, she looked just like a boy, all her hair shaved, and she don't have any hair on her head. I don't pull hair anyway, but I did have long hair down here, but it was a ponytail. So what I did was, when she dropped to her knees, I grabbed her right here, and I took her shirt and I wrapped it around and pulled it to me, and started doing what I do. So anyway, as I was doing that, she was going out. So she had done dazed out. I let her go. She dropped to the ground. So then I left the scene. When I left the scene, I started jogging to the dorm, because I had, her whatever all over me. I don't want to say it because TikTok be tripping. I had all that over my shirt and everything, so I needed to change my shirt. So I ran to the dorm. Everybody looked at my shirt like, oh man, what happened? What happened? So I didn't say anything, because in there you need to be quiet, because if you say what you did, people gonna go behind your back and be like, yeah, she came in, she said they had a fight and she had that. all over her shirt. So anyway, I changed my shirt, and when I changed my shirt and I had a little bit on my pants, I changed all that, went back outside like it was nothing. As I was walking outside, the captain was over there at the scene because she was hurt. So the captain tended to her because the face leaking and everything. So the captain just called my name out of nowhere, inmate, come here. So she questioned me, right? You know, I'm new to this. I ain't true to this. You know, I just started doing time. So when she questioned me, I said, yes, ma'am. And I told her what happened. So she put the cuffs on me and she put the cuffs on her. And she took us both to confinement. Now, confinement, man, oh my goodness, that was my first time in confinement. And I'm looking like, man, the cell was dirty. You know, people they've written all this stuff all over the wall, and it's just smell. It's horrible. There's stooling in the inside of the toilet. There's toilet paper throwed all up on the lights and wall. It was filthy. So I go in, and you know, the first thing, you know, I'm just cringing, man. I'm like, oh my goodness, man, I can't take this, man. That was a most horrific moment of my life, to be honest with you. I'm sitting in this dirty cell and I'm thinking about all this stuff that I can catch and this and that. So I'm sitting in the corner like this at the edge of the bed, don't want to touch nothing. And anyway, so the officer come and she bring me some cosses. I clean the room real good. And she bring me my property. I clean, bleach everything down, and I get settled in. So I'm sitting and I'm talking to God and I'm praying to God. I'm like, Lord Jesus, you know that wasn't my fault, man. I had to defend myself and da. Now, a fight in DR is 30 days confinement. So anyway, they came and they did the DR hearing. And when I went to the DR hearing, they gave me 15 days confinement. I mean, I got to stay in that room 15 days. So I did that anyway. I got out. So when I got out and I was walking down the compound and everything, everybody, a lot of people like speaking, like, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people was like, just give me the side eye, because what happened was this girl, she had a little crew that she ran, and she was the head honcho, and everybody was scared of her. And so, you know what I'm saying? It's like she had this power or something over them, like whatever she tell them to do, they have to do it. But they told me, you know, I found out later that she was the type that when new inmates come in, she'll try those inmates and do something to those inmates to keep a flame to her name. Like, you know, don't play with her and don't play with her crew, because she gonna do it to you. You know, she don't play and this and that and the other. So I guess that she picked me to ignite the flame of her name again, because every so often they say she would do this to make sure people know that she wasn't the one to be played with. So she picked me, and I guess because this innocent look, it kind of fooled her. So now, you know, I done, you know, kind of, you know, I done did what I had to do, and it kind of messed her name up a little bit. I took a little power off her name, because everybody was like, man, that legit got with her. So a lot of people start coming from up under her sway. Like, a lot of people would start coming back at her that was scared of her. You know, a lot of people was like, man, I ain't with that, man. And you start seeing her having more arguments then, because people used to be scared of her. But then when they saw how I had done took her out the game and you know, beat her up, they was like, a lot of people was coming out of their little shell and they wasn't being so scared of her anymore. And, you know, I just want to say, man, you know, like, sometimes you're going to be put in a situation in that place where you're going to have to defend yourself, you know, and you don't want to be fighting and all that, because you want to do good and you want to go home. But you got to understand that I had a long time ahead of me. So if I didn't go ahead on and make a name for myself right then I would have been tried my whole 25 years in there. So, you know, while I'm doing all this and thinking about it, while I'm in the midst of fighting, I'm thinking about, okay, let me go ahead on and make an example out of her, because I got a long road ahead of me. So I just did what I had to do with that in mind. But, you know, if you facing time or got somebody facing time, you know, fighting is not always the route to go. If you can avoid it, then avoid it. And sometimes you can't avoid it because people just try you just to try you. But, you know, just take it with a grain of salt. If somebody try you, just do what you do and handle yourself. And you know what I'm saying? But don't ever come out trying to walk around like you bad and, oh, I did this and want to be a bully. You know what I'm saying? Because people respect you more. They understand sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But after you've done what you had to do, just carry yourself, man, in a decent manner. Don't become no bully. Don't become, you know, trying to lord it over people. Just be cool and be you, and they're going to know. Don't mess with you. You be blessed. I'll be back.